Do you hate the Fantasticar? Have you considered just playing 11 force effects? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today we're going to do a before and after. Dalton sent me kind of a crazy Yorion mid-range lands deck. And I think the deck building theory behind this is not sound, and I'll get into that in a second. What Dalton ultimately wants to accomplish is a combo deck that can pivot into a mid-range role. So the idea is you have this Dark Depths Thespian stage combo that you're gunning for, but if your opponent stops it, you just start going into things that look like Murktide Regent and Uro instead. But I don't think this deck is going to accomplish anything as it is currently built, because I think there is so much negative synergy in this deck list, and I'll show you what I mean. This is a Mana Bond deck list, which wants you to dump your entire hand into your graveyard. But it's also trying to play counter spells that you want to hold up. So those don't work together. It is trying to play flow state, but on what turn will you realistically have both an instant and a sorcery in the graveyard? It's trying to play personal tutor to set up flow state and also time warp for an extra attack on your creatures, but minus the merit lage, the time warp probably isn't finishing the job, right? 2 Uro attacks is a total of 12. 3 is a total of 18. The 18 might not even get the job done sometimes. And how big is Murktide Regent realistically going to be if most of what you're milling over is going to be land a lot of the time? So I am going to go into the tank and figure out how do we rebuild this deck. And I think it needs a significant amount of love. I'm going to try to keep this combo aspect of lands and also some amount of the mid-range stuff, but we've got to do something that helps to make everything here make sense. So I'm going to spend about an hour tuning this up and see where we end up. So here's what I came up with after giving it a little bit of thought. One of the first things I did was add in more lands and ways to find lands. As an 80 card deck, the original version Dalton sent along was playing like 32 lands, and that's about how much a 60 card lands deck plays. Now, I know we're not all in on the land stuff to the same degree, but I still think we had to bump up that land count a little bit. So I went up to 36 lands while also adding both Lorien Revealed and Malevolent Rumble to the deck here. I tried to keep a balance of instants and sorceries for flow state purposes, and I think this is about the sweet spot. It's still possible that I should be higher on lands than I even am as of right now. There's a lot of colorless land in this deck. And rather than Murktide Regent, I'm going to try Emeritus of Ideation. It is a similar mid-range card. It will require more mana to actually cast, but it does not innately have to eat my graveyard. And I was worried that if I was doing Uro and Murktide Regent and Life from the Loam, and then I got hit with like Leyline of the Void, that it would be incredibly hard for me to actually win the game. So I wanted one of my threats to do something that was not graveyard oriented. So the hope here is that between Tamiyo, the Emeritus, and Uro, that I have plenty of things to sink my mana into as the game goes long. That's what I am hoping for. And since I'm not giving my opponent all that many removal targets in the deck, having the ward is at least a little bit nice compared to Murktide Regent. I think it would probably be better to play this as an Urza Saga deck rather than a Dark Depths deck, but that's drifting pretty far away from the original idea, so I'm not going to do that. I think if we're trying to do like lands with counterspells, the idea of doing Urza Saga tokens alongside Tamiyo producing clues sounds pretty good. and probably ends up killing faster than Dark Depths on average. Turn 1 Tamiyo, turn 2 Urza Saga is a hell of a drug. I'm still a little worried that by trying to put all of these blue spells into the deck and play this mid-range game, that we're not leaning enough into the strengths of lands and having the defensive options like Maze of Iths and whatnot. But we'll see how it plays out in practice. As far as the sideboard, one of the big changes I made was add in a bunch of copies of Force of Vigor. The Fantasticar exists. And my hope is that with Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, 11 forces is enough to keep that deck in check. And we'll play a couple of consigns as well, because that's how much I'm respecting this deck right now. And consign has utility elsewhere. Otherwise, I have a handful of creatures that I have added to the sideboard so that when something like Force of Negation is not particularly at its best, I can at least sideboard out some number of the counterspells for reasonable looking cards like Dismember, Ice-Till Explorer, and Endurance. So this one might be a little bumpy. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes when I feel mediocre about a deck, we instantly 5-0, and other times it's a disaster. Either way, if you need something like Emeritus of Ideation, please consider getting it from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com, and when you do, use promo code ThrabenU to save yourself a little bit on your order. Actually, I might need a copy of that card. Alright, with that being said, let's battle. Okay, as long as my Lorien Revealed doesn't get Thought Seized, I have both of my colors. I think that alone is often going to mean that my hands are keeps. Oh god. Well, I have both of my colors. Do I immediately Wasteland on principle? Go with no. I would much rather be the Urza Saga deck in this situation. Yes! So I'm currently considering crop rotation for Wasteland, double Wasteland you, lock you under your sphere. Feels a little too spicy. I think that just resolves. So let's cycle this Lorien Revealed. I Wasteland Urza Saga. I don't cast anything. The ETB tapped land is probably fine, but I think I'm going to get the untapped one so that I can potentially have crop rotation up. Wasteland that Urza Saga and not play that game. I don't know that I just want to have Hedge Maze and Bojuka Bog in my hand at the same time. Alright, now I can't play out of Dark Depths ever. We're just going to scooch this Uro over by Force of Will. I probably have to hold up crop rotation, unfortunately. I really want to get the ETB tapped land out of the way. Yeah. So I'm going to crop rotation for Wasteland. There's also a really funny thing where I can do where I play out my own Thespian stage. But I think I need to stop my opponent from doing their thing. Untapped land so I can Force of Will? Untapped land so I can Force of Will. It's just awkward. Because, like, now my opponent might not do it. Alright, so they are going to do it. So let's go, bam. Oh, I need to tap that for green. And we'll crop rotation. I think I'm going to sack my own Thespian stage here. Oh, everything's so small. Oh, lag. I'll get a Wasteland. So I can let this resolve and then Wasteland the copy so that my opponent doesn't get the Merit Lage and they go down 2 lands. And now I have Force of Will available, and I can follow it up with a Bojuka Bog to clear all of that stuff out of the graveyard. Ghost Quarter. Is this positive or negative for me right now? Positive? Question mark? Bog, yeah. Pass, turn, and then I can start looking at doing Uro stuff. Bojuka Bog does not contribute towards the Uro count. Tabernacle, sure. Do I just do a crop rotation for a Hedge Maze straight up? It's a pretty weird use of mana. I could also just Boseiju the Sphere and be done with it. Let's do that. Oh! Failed to find a basic land card, so those are just in hand. Now, I think I will Rumble first. Opponent's Yavimaya is, like, absolutely doing some stuff. Ooh, that's weird. Long term, I really want that Exploration. I think I'm going to just take it with Tabernacle here, rather than pay the tax on Tamiyo when I am a little behind where I want to be on mana. I am, in fact, going to try to hit a land drop here. Ooh, all right. Go back 1 and 2. Anyway, when I said I was still a little worried about the land count in the deck, that is what I meant. Nah, you don't get that. Force of Will. Pitch Tamiyo. It's hard to do the clue stuff right now. All right. Yeah, there's a basic land that we suspected was there. In upkeep, I am legitimately just going to shuffle. Going to crop rotation away this Bojuka Bog and find a hedge maze. That just lets me surveil. I don't think I want that right now. You can go away. Actually, I'll pay for it. I have a floating black mana. All right, there's a Thespian stage, which means that I can play Uro, and I will. Blue. Green. 1. Yavimaya, you're a real one. Take my redraw. Ooh. Send that to graveyard. I will admit that Murktide Regent would be better in this specific spot with, like, active Tabernacle as a thing and this many cards in graveyard. We'll see if I ended up overestimating this deck's mana production. Raucous. Guess I'm glad I didn't keep Tamiyo for multiple reasons now. Oh, I will... Ooh. This is scary to play because of opposing crop rotation. And also my opponent has Caracas, so I think I simply just don't. Blue, green, green, blue. Alright, so leave an instant, leave a sorcery, do Uro. This is just drawing me cards for right now and maybe helping me to make land drops and whatnot. Alright, cool. There's a forest. Uro is in play. I will floop down an exploration and call it there. Caracas is good against Dark Depths, Uro, and Tamiyo all at the same time. I can eventually find a wasteland and solve that problem. Like, if Uro is drawing me an extra card and gaining me life every turn, that's probably not the end of the world. I don't know that I ever want to put this Dark Depths into play. My opponent might be in the same position. Yeah, they are passing the turn without making a land drop there. Malevolent Rumble. A lot of the times I can still floop this into play afterwards. I'm in. My own Yavimaya occurs. All right. There's the Emeritus. I don't die in one hit to a Merit Lage if my opponent has some sort of double crop rotation crimes. I want to, like, activate this and find Force of Will or Force of Negation to help versus combo lines. Because once a Merit Lage is made, fuck, it's problematic for me. Because my opponent has the Caracas and I do not. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Because my Merit Lage doesn't defend particularly well against their Caracas protected one. It's fucking Aang. He's here. I'm going to take 20 to the dome so that I can draw and look for Otawara with this. That feels important. Because I can draw 6 cards with this turn. Just draw 3, attack, exile 8 cards from my graveyard, draw another 3, and I just have to hope that I find Otawara somewhere in like 7 cards, which is possible, but we are a Yorion-sized deck. Okay, cool. Tabernacle's not in play anymore, so I don't lose a mana there. Life from the Loam. Okay, that's not quite doing it. So step 1 is Ancestral, and see where that ends up. Not amazing places. I can also intend to block with this. That's not the most reliable. Both of these being here means that Wasteland isn't enough. I could try for a multi-turn line where I block with the Emeritus and then try to indefinitely block with my own Merit Lage. So I go like Wasteland you, then the following turn, Wasteland you, produce my own 20/20 indestructible blocker. I don't hate it, I don't love it. What else am I doing with my mana? If I do that. Thespian stage, copy my opponent's Caracas. Yeah. Okay. Life from the Loam, Wasteland, Bojuka Bog. Let's get those back. If we pass, like, crop rotation for Bog as a check, and we did. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cut my opponent off of their green for crop rotation. And now I would like to change phases. Fuck! No! Devastating. So now I don't get to play the second Wasteland. Wow, that's really bad. It's okay, I will block Thespian Stage, copy this with Caracas. Yes. Sure. No. This Ghost Quarter is rough now. Maybe I Uro instead to make the extra land drop. I will not dredge Life from the Loam. I will take an actual draw. I will put Wasteland onto the battlefield. This is an awful spot. Alright, so they're going to bounce my Uro back to my hand. You chill as a blocker. I'll junk like a Lorien Revealed. My opponent still has green mana. I have to get rid of both Ghost Quarter and Caracas. I might be brainstorming to try to find my way out of this spot. Alright. I think I am taking a real... Oh my god. Alright, my opponent has named Wasteland. I will say no to Life from the Loam. Oh, that's quite good. Holy cow. Alright, without thinking about it very much. Dark Depths. Thespian Stage thingy. Keep the one with no ice counters. Now I have my blocker. I have Force of Will pitching Brainstorm for this. Now, 1, 2, 3, Uro. No Life from the Loam Dredge. I will put in Bog. I will Bog your graveyard. Now I can Malevolent Rumble as well. Put Dark Depths into my hand. All right. I still have to get through this. So, like, we're not done here. But I am now on the right track. No to Life from the Loam. Hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there's Uro. No to these Loams. Put Thespian Stage into play. Now I have this. Put Exploration into play. Life from the Loam, Thespian Sage, Boseiju, Wasteland. Bam and bam. Wasteland into play. Thespian Stage into play. Pass turn. In upkeep. Green mana. Oh, that costs 1. I have multiple legendary creatures. Junk that. Wasteland that Ghost Quarter. And then at this point, it's just a matter of how much more of my clock do I burn. I'm down a lot of clock. I am playing a Bizarro deck. Yep. Put a land into play. So I've got an Otawara to find. I'm looking at a ton of cards per turn. So it's fine. But I will probably use like 2 or 3 more minutes on this game. Alright, cool. Didn't have to. GG's. So let's assume that Ice Till Explorer is good. That Force of Vigor and Disruptor Flute and Endurance are also things that I can think about. Consign is not crazy. I think I am simply just not going to Tamiyo. I don't know that I want to deal with that card against a deck that has tutorable Caracas. I'm assuming I never get to cut lands in this deck just for the raw land count. Everything that is now in this pile looks pretty reasonable. I'm not, like, super keen on Force of Will, but I think Force of Negation is incredibly important, so I don't know that I get to get rid of it. Yeah, I don't know how to sideboard. I don't really want to lower my blue count because stopping Life from the Loam is really going to matter. What does it look like if I do this? That's 81. I'm okay with this. I will trim 1 blue card. That's weird. I have neither of my colors-ish. I think I am just going to keep it. And if it doesn't look like this game is, going to work out, I lose it quickly. Saga is fine. Okay. I think upkeep, I go for both of those. Hope my opponent can't crop rotation. No. I guess if they didn't have it there, they probably don't have it at all. I'll take that too. Alright, let's get rid of that stop. I need to get rid of this one as well to go back to my normal stuff. Getting rid of the Yavimaya does slow down my goldfish. That is what it is. Map is fine. Another stage, sure. I think I need to play this land here. Alright, nobody phases out. And I pass the turn. If I were the opponent here, I might just be thinking about getting an Urza Saga. It's a little weird, like I could copy it. Oh, they need their green mana. That's reasonable. So I will put this into play. Malevolent Rumble. I think I'm just picking up untapped lands here. This would be my blue mana. Maybe the blue mana matters. All right, I'll pass the turn. And the hope is that my opponent taps down low enough that I can execute my Dark Depths combo while they don't have Thespian Stage up. That's the dream. They get their own Malevolent Rumble. Ooh, they've got Choke. While I have no islands. That's a weird spot. Because it's not like Mox Diamond is insane, but they might just physically need more mana. Alright, yeah, opponent did take the Mox Diamond. I hope they don't play it. Fuck, they played it. So now they have Thespian Stage activation available, and I can't just jam Dark Depths. Do something else. Hell yeah. Alright. So I can now produce a Merit Lage, but my opponent can maze with it. Ooh. Yep. Icetail Explorer absolutely rules here, because I can just double wasteland my opponent immediately. So, getcha. Ooh, crop rotation. You can now Bojuka Bog me. Yep, seems reasonable. I will Hedge Maze as my second land here. Crop rotation to the bin. Wasteland to the bin. I can play it from graveyard. My opponent has used their bog. Ooh, man, they've got Otawara as well. Otawara and Mazavith is going to be hard to beat. Like maybe time-consuming to beat is a better way to put it. There's Urza Saga. I'm just thinking about whether I realistically win this game. I hope I do. Here is Wasteland. I think I have to pretty aggressively go after Urza Saga in particular, and if my opponent copies it, I have to go after the copy as well. They've tapped and untapped the Thespian Stage a couple of times. All right, they are going to copy it, which occurs. Then I will Wasteland again. I'm just going to always yield to this at this point and hope that doesn't bite me in the butt. Go after that Saga again. I need to tap that differently. I need to tap this one. Do Uro. Make my extra land drop here. Throw an island into play for escape-based reasons. And send in with Icetail Explorer. I think I am committing to trying to win this game. It feels tough, but possible. Ghost Quarter's fine. I think I end up winning via sad beatdown rather than anything else. Where I probably use Uro and Icetail Explorer to try and keep gaining a mana advantage. My Yavimaya gets Ghost Quartered. I will use that ability. I'll pick up another mana source of some kind, which lets me mill another card. Alright, there's another Uro. Going to continue down this path of wastelanding my opponent. It gets a little more awkward from here, because I don't super want to put that Bojuka Bog into graveyard, but I think I'm doing it. That is a crop rotation. Ooh. So I can make my own, but I know that my opponent has Otawara. Shit. Okay, that happens. I think I'm going to go ahead and just Uro. Use that as a way to make another land drop, mill another card. Do I have Karakas? I don't have Karakas. I can get Otawara and Wasteland Otawara. Fuck, I should have played the Wasteland then. No, I don't have Life from the Loam. Sorry, I'm trying to think quickly. I think if I lose this one, I time out. My Bojuka Bog is already used. My Bojuka Bog is not used. I thought it was used. Oh, I don't have green anyway. Yavimaya is now gone. Alright, so I get bogged off of that Wasteland, which was problematic. I will take 20. I can crack back for 8. How am I beating Otawara? Polluted Delta to play. I can end up milling Otawara, my own Otawara. All right, opponent takes 2. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to Talon Gates this out of play. That's how I will do that. Let's fetch now, in case I like mill a better card. Okay. So 1, 2, blue. Fuck. Talon Gates is right there. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So 1, green, crop rotation, sacrifice Talon Gates, get Otawara so that I have access to that. Then go Life from the Loam, make land drop, fetch, get some land, mill again, play Wasteland, take out this pass turn, and then depending on what my opponent does here, I can potentially just make my own 2020 as well. All right, Talon Gates. I'm just going to do the safer line here, phase that out, and then I get my own 2020 and kill my opponent. I probably should have done this in combat so that my opponent can't do a second main phase Wasteland from hand. So now I'm just going to do this, create my own, keep the 1 with no ice counters, and I'm hoping that I've now got it. I don't remember what all is in my opponent's hand. I don't have time to keep track of everything perfectly. I think I successfully ground through all of that nonsense. Caracas. I will dredge Life from the Loam. Wasteland. Actually, I'm just going to attack first. In we go. I'll decline that. Oh, I could have put Dark Depths into hand. Yeah. I only accomplished 2 damage here. All right. Play Wasteland. Wasteland my own. Otawara. Pick up you. Otawara. Wasteland. You. Green and 1. This. Have Otawara available. I might have maned a Uro as well. I'm not counting it out. I will Otawara a Merit Lage in response to that. And then that can resolve. Opponent names Thespian Stage. Sure. Plays Ancient Tomb. And passes. I will dredge a Life from the Loam. Oh, Boseiju is cool. In we go for 8. I think I'm going to time out. All right, opponent just Otawara as my threat back to hand, which is reasonable. Wasteland this, Life from the Loam, Wasteland, Dark Depths, Boseiju, 1 and 2, Boseiju, fucking Pithing Needle, stage that, keep the 1 with no ice counters, there's a Wasteland, pass, and I think my opponent just has access to Caracas, right? That stops this. So I think I win this in a longer game, and I just simply don't have the time to do it, which is fine. I am happy with the deck's performance here, which is ultimately what matters. All right, so loss by timeout, that is probably a win if I am not narrating these games, and I have time to either slow down a little bit more or play this prolonged game. I'm very happy with how this deck is performing, though. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I love them. I have over 1,000 deck lists here. And I think the thing that I like the most about them is they're more than just a basic deck builder. If you need information about your next pre-release or where you can get cards, they have that sort of stuff here too. Whether you need to manage your collection or just a couple of decks, Moxfield does it all. So go check them out. Alrighty. Opening hand is a thing. I don't think that is what I am using Force of Negation on. I think I want to save it for natural order style cards that are potentially a bit scarier. I can also crop rotation for Wasteland if I like. Well, alright. Sure. We're restarting the game. I've drawn a card, but my opponent has a land in play. Misty Rainforest comes down, and there is a Badgermole Cub. That occurs. My hand is pretty bad at this time. Flow state's not really on. Force of Negation is not ideal. And my crop rotation doesn't find things like Tabernacle that could be devastating here. I might just brainstorm to try and sculpt my plan here. And if I randomly find a Force of Will, cool. Oh, I randomly found a Force of Will. Cool. I will just put back some lands. I think I am comfortable Force of Willing that. And I think that I am just working towards a Dark Depths finish and just crack my opponent for 20. Bird is fine, although that'll be a blocker. I will take 2. I have a Force of Negation and a blue card to pitch if my opponent does just jam Natural Order. I'll pass my turn here. Jammin'? Jammin'? Oh, fuck. That doesn't get countered by Force of Negation. This is bad. This is worse. Okay. Crop rotation. I have 2 choices. I can get the Dark Depths and hope to spike the 1 in, 67 chance of getting the Yavimaya to combo. Or I can get the Bojuka Bog and clear this, which is what I'm going to do. And then just be upset if I draw Yavimaya next turn. Take 2 more from Badger Mole Cub. I'm at 14. I'm going to die quickly. And opponent also can, find another wasteland with Ice Tail Explorer. Green Sun gets milled. That is a Green Sun for 1. I think I let that resolve. I think I need to cast this flow state. Yeah, I knew what that was going to find. So I have to go blue land, flow state, look for Dark Depths, fail. Very far away from this, so I guess I am taking Malevolent Rumble. No, I'm going to take the Emeritus and have the ability to pitch that to Force of Negation. I think if I play Forest as land for turn and then Malevolent Rumble, I'm just not winning. I'm just going to die to onboard beats. I am taking 6 already. I'm just going to shut the door on a follow-up Green Sun or Natural Order. Grist! Yeah. Alright, great. So now my opponent will get a few chances to mill themselves for another wasteland to ruin me. Scythe Cat Cub, good god. Alright. No wasteland yet. Opponent fetches. And does this whole thing again. Oh god. So they just spiked Nature's Rhythm. I imagine that kills me. Literally or effectively. So let's stop yielding through this turn. Another Scythe Cat Cub. Alright. At this point, I'm just yielding to these triggers, and whatever happens, happens. What an insane turn, by the way. Ice Tail Explorer, just, for Wasteland stuff, was already good. But when it is also randomly spiking Nature's Rhythm and doing crimes with Scythe Cat Cub, that's nuts. So I am now just dead this turn to Badger Mole Cub having counters enter and double. That was devastating. GG's. Alright, I imagine Ice Tail Explorer is good, Dismember for killing creatures is good, and Endurance is reasonable. Those are what I'm going to be looking at doing. I don't know that I'm going to Disruptor Flute. I don't think this game goes long enough for Tamiyo to be insane, and I don't love Force of Negation either. My blue count for Force of Will is low if I board in 7 green-black cards and take out 8 blue cards. That is what it is. I think that's happening. I will keep 1 more blue card for Force of Will specifically. I feel like my opponent is just going to overrun me. I don't think I have enough defensive tools, so I think I am on combo or be dead. I guess I am going to keep this. This is not the approach that I would like to take of trying to play a Life from the Limb Wasteland game, but I have Force of Will to kick things off. I have Malevolent Rumble to dig. I think I am hedge mazing, and I think I am very aggressively looking for exactly the card Exploration, but I'm doing so in an 80 card deck, so, Yeah. Dryad Arbor is the find. Well, that's very good for my Wasteland. So we'll take that. Hedge Maze. That's not exactly the card Exploration. Neither is that. Wasteland U. And now that I have 2 arrows, I, like, super don't care about pitching 1 to a Force of Will. Opponent has their own Wasteland, which they are not going to use. Or are you going to be... Yep, okay, that's fine. I can Hedge Maze again, or get Basic Forest if I really want to just be Wasteland proof. I don't think I need to be Wasteland proof if I cast Life from the Loam exactly once. I have land drops forever. But here we are in the face of another Wasteland, so I will Wasteland proof myself. Ooh, that's very good. It doesn't work this turn, but that's very good. So, fetch land, Wasteland, more other fetch land, Loam, and I think I am immediately just rediscarding one of those lands. Like, as much as I want to throw an arrow into the graveyard for value, I'm pitching one of those to a Force of Will. Oh, my opponent doesn't have more land. Yep. You're gonna have a bad day then. I don't need to dredge this turn, so I will Wasteland your Wasteland, play Exploration, do Misty, fetch. I'm fine getting a Trop here, now that I have at least my colors guaranteed. Oh, Icetail Explorer is sick. I will take Icetail Explorer. Exploration, Icetail Explorer, Uro is a go. Malevolent Rumble for if my opponent Bojuka Bogs me. Would you like to phase out my Eldrazi spawn? You can do that. Endurance. You would like to clear my graveyard. No. Just no. I will mill. Here's Icetail Explorer. We have so many lands for activities. Wasteland you. Play Hedge Maze. Mill the card first. Cool, there's Stage. There's an Endurance. I'm going to play more lands from graveyard, so I guess that's just going to graveyard. Then play out a Wasteland and call it good there. And I will eventually find like Dark Depths and just win or cast this Uro. Like it's trivial from here when my opponent can't accumulate mana realistically. Okay, yeah. So you can clear this stuff. I'm left with my Wasteland though. And like with Wasteland and Uro and Malevolent Rumble, it's very easy for me to just still chain value. Lol. Malevolent Rumble. Wow. Quad whiff. Float green. Wasteland myself. Play Hedge Maze. And just restock this graveyard. I'm going to be playing more lands, so everything just ends up going there. There is this. There is this. There is this. That I can keep on top because I will play... Oh no! I will not play Uro. In for 2. Opponent's just passing here, so like it's whatever. There's Thespian Stage, mill. There's Wasteland, mill. There's Dark Depths, mill. There's a 2020. Replay Thespian Stage. Yeah. Okay, that was devastating. It's turn 8. We got the flawless victory of my opponent having no permanence. GG. I don't think it goes that well on average. I think on the draw, I'm going to swap Emeritus for Tamiyo as something that can just maybe absorb a few points of chip damage early in the game. This doesn't do anything. Like, I can try to keep a hand that is just casting a pair of Endurances. I don't know if that's good enough. Like, it feels like if my opponent just plays a Scythe Cat Cub, they just, like, completely chonk through these Endurances. I think I'm going to mulligan. This I will keep. This is going to play Tamiyo to absorb early damage, and then attempt to make a 2020 that kills my opponent. We've got a plan. You may Green Sun. Icetail Explorer. I could crop rotation for Wasteland and try to play a more mid-range game like I just did. I don't hate it. It's weird. I think I do Trop here. But a Trop is in graveyard for later. Wasteland. Getcha. And then we'll just kind of see how good this is. That resolves. Ooh. So now I can get a basic, play Exploration and Tamiyo in the same turn. This feels unholy. Fuck. That's very, very, very good. So that'll take out my Tamiyo next turn, and this gets to crack in for 3. Tamiyo does not soak that damage. It's fine, we're just gonna naturally draw Thespian Stage. Dang. Back your face. So, land drop, Ice Till Explorer. And then I will get to play one more land here, and I can float a Wasteland into play. If my opponent does not Bojuka Bog me immediately. They will Bojuka Bog me immediately. So they don't have that creature anymore for Grist purposes, so I guess that's the good news. And I will always make it back to my turn with one of Tamiyo or Ice Till Explorer. The Grist can only get one of those. So there's a reasonable creature to sacrifice. No, they're not sacrificing. I thought they were really going to try to control my creatures. They might be playing towards an actual factual kill here. I will take 4. I am at 11. Wasteland. That might not be amazing here. Flow state's weird. I think I'll just cast that immediately. I don't know that I want Planeswalker Tamiyo right now. Ooh. Yes. Any order on those. Wasteland, mill a card. Thespian Stage. Wasteland, your Wasteland. Yeah, you can do this thing. You have another bog? You're gonna Talon Gates my Ice Tail Explorer, so I can't get this into play immediately. Reasonable. Yep. This will be my second card I've drawn this turn, so this is fine to do. Loam as well. Alright, cool. I'm considering whether Tamiyo is just a couple of points of life here, potentially. I think I want that clue. I don't think I am taking 11 this turn, but like Scythecat Cub nonsense can happen. My opponent's so low on resources, I think I just take the clue in case things go wrong. Like, my opponent, now that they have phased out this creature, they can't Grist minus and kill it. So they will Grist plus. They've got Mortuary, and they can chonk in for 4 points of damage. I am down to 7. This is now activating. Are we phasing out again? Opponent is phasing out again. Yep. I have the life from the loam here. 1, 2, 3. Bam, bam. Last card, Endurance. Alright. I'm gonna go Trop. Because I'm going to draw the card with the clue token here. I'm not dredging with life from the loam. Oh, it's an exploration, but I have no green mana. Devastating. The next turn I guess I have to worry about my opponent playing Thoughtseize. Alright. Thespian Stage to play. And at this point, would I block with Tamiyo? Yes. I think at this point I block with Tamiyo. I think Ice Till Explorer and Life from the Loam are giving me enough angles here. Must be nice. So now my Thespian Stage doesn't work. I think I'm just going to absorb some life with Tamiyo. So my best reason to dredge is now offline. I think I'm going to take a draw. Lorien Revealed. Exploration. Land drop 1. Mill a card. Lorien Revealed. Draw a bunch of cards. Not dredging life from the loam with any of those. Land drop and mill. I think I will brainstorm. I'd like to play out a Tamiyo as a blocker if I draw one. Put back 1, 2. Hedge Maze, clear both of those. I'm now out of land drops. My opponent can Grist minus, sack one of those things, and kill Ice Till Explorer, which I don't like. I am also reaching the point where... Oh, fuck. That's not great either. That gets a Force of Will. But I'm basically dead. There's just 6 on board. My opponent has to make a token, sack the token to Grist to kill Ice Tail Explorer, and then they have lethal. So there's the creature, and this takes out the Ice Tail Explorer for lethal. My opponent played well, but they also got pretty darn lucky. Like, that last card being Boseiju into Disruptor Flute sequence was disgusting for me when I otherwise had taken over the game. GG's. All their losses have been incredibly close. I guess I'll keep this hand. It needs just something. Opponent is an Underground Sea deck of some kind. We have a Force of Will for if they are a Fantasticar combo deck. And slightly longer term, I also have a Boseiju. So if we're playing against the Fantasticar, this is actually okay. Oh, yeah. Forest. Exploration. It's ninjas. That's a Yuriko. I think my counterspells are pretty awkward here. I think I'm just gonna fight over this so that I can play Hedge Maze immediately and try to find a Thespian stage to pair with Dark Depths ASAP. Oh, there's not more mana from my opponent. Uh-oh. Hedge Maze time? I'll say no to that. Do I have to play around Spell Pierce? I don't want to play around Spell Pierce. Flow state? Yeah, okay. I'm going to put back Dark Depths, Boseiju, immediately fetch, grab Trop. Malevolent Rumble will be my sorcery or flow state. Oh, and I get Wasteland here? Yup. I know that you have one land, and it is about to get wastelanded. Yep. All right, GG. That was a non-game. So my Force of Negations are probably not super good against my opponent's creatures deck. I think I double Ice Till Explorer and Dismember here. I could Endurance. I don't think I will. My hand is almost good. One blue land and we're doing numbers. I think I just have to mulligan this one. I think it just does not play Magic too often. Am I keeping all of the mana? I'm keeping the hand. So I always need these 4 cards for sure. This is my easiest way to win. And then it's just, do I want a Hedge Maze for turn 1 or a Brainstorm? I think I want the Hedge Maze for turn 1. I don't know. I have, like, Brainstorm, Life from the Loam, Fetch Land. I'm going to get rid of the Brainstorm. Brainstorm just gets countered, right? Opponent ponders. That is a flow state. That land can go to graveyard. I will then have a potential Life from the Loam target if I want to play that. If I play it, I'm probably playing it as bait for Malevolent Rumble to resolve. Opponent is just going to pass after dropping that Vista. I need to start getting counterspells out of my opponent's hand. Let's start here. I don't actually care about this spell. Oh, it hit a Loam, though. That's very funny. Cool. Opponent fetches. Has black. Bowmaster? Absolute daggers. It's a negative that I had the Life from a Loam in my hand. What a tilt. Honestly, my position's still not all that bad. Like, there's an instant and a sorcery in my graveyard for flow state purposes. I have crop rotation for Thespian stage, like forthcoming as well. This is fine. Wasteland's very good. Opponent can use it now. If they don't, crop rotation is potentially available to protect my stuff. We're in no rush here. Green, blue, there's a flow state. This is now all sorts of weird. Blusterstorm is a thing that exists. I think I'm just letting that Wasteland happen. I think I don't care about it. Tamiyo? Tamiyo Force of Will? Tamiyo Uro? Tamiyo Force of Will. I already made my land drop this turn. The Tamiyo's not happening. Unless I crop rotation, which I don't want to do. We're just chilling. Delta comes down. Opponent's still just passing the turn. I now have multiple crop rotations. There's Tamiyo. Force of Will. Meet. Force of Will. Are we flusterin'? It is Force of Negation instead. So that stack is going to clear. Crop rotation for Dark Depths. Fetch. Crop rotation for Thespian stage. 1, 2, go. Opponent has 1 card left. I'm in. Green mana. Crop rotation. Dark Depths. Green mana. Green mana. Crop rotation. I think I junk Trop still. Thespian stage. Do the thing. Keep the one with no ice counters. Opponent has 2 cards. One of them, well, 1 card plus draw for turn. One of those has to answer in Indestructible 2020 or they are dead. They are dead. There we go. That was a relatively quick 2-0 here. I know we are negative overall on the scoreboard, but this deck is performing just fine. GG's. All right. This is fine. Underground Sea Gamer again. I am probably just going to wasteland them off of that land immediately and play my exploration later, especially drawing another land. Get out of here. Misty Rainforest comes down. We have not knocked our opponent off of lands completely. Let's grab some basics here. Forest first for exploration. I think I am okay getting the ETB tapped land out of the way now. Yeah. I don't know exactly what I'm playing against. Like, the top 5-ish decks in Legacy right now are blue-black decks of various natures, so the whole, like, Underground Sea, Polluted Delta, Undercity Sewers thing is quite ambiguous right now. That can occur. Like, this could be Doomsday, this could be Reanimator, this could be a Fantasticar deck, it could be the Vroomsday hybrid deck. It'd still be a Storm deck. Opponent's just passing the turn here, though, which I like. Land drop, Tamiyo. I don't know whether or not it's correct to Brainstorm because I don't know what the matchup is yet. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here and have Brainstorm to protect Tamiyo if my opponent is playing fair. Like, my guess is that they're playing unfair, but I really don't know. That's a flow state. That's fine. I think I will use my second Hedge Maze now. Yes. That's excellent. Wasteland. Combat. In with Tamiyo. I'm now going to go ahead and take out this Underground Sea. And then in second main, I can go ahead and Brainstorm and flip Tamiyo. Nice. I think I go 1, 2, let Tamiyo flip, plus Tamiyo, draw the blue card to pair with Force of Negation, fetch a Trop. I'll put a Hedge Maze into the graveyard here. Crop rotation, grab another Wasteland. Wasteland and Underground Sea. And now I have a Tamiyo that can potentially repeatedly return flow states or just keep plussing to the moon. Opponent does have another land drop. Dark Ritual. Fantasticar. No. Very nice. Did not get got. Opponent to 18. Lotus Petal. And Flow State. So they will try to rebuild. And I can, like, Tamiyo minus and return my Force of Negation, which I will do. Then I can cast one of Flow State or Tamiyo. I think I will cast Tamiyo. And then I have this available for pitch cast in this turn cycle. There are greedier lines that I can take here where I try to cast the Flow State to put a sorcery into the graveyard and then still find a blue card. Opponent fetches. The cantrips are fine. The current question is, does my opponent have Doomsday in their deck, or are they just an all-in card deck? And we don't know the answer to that yet. I haven't seen anything that screams, this is Doomsday. Take your redraw. That's not what I'm looking for. Tamiyo in. Now it's like weird whether or not I crack this clue immediately. I think I will just crack it immediately. I want to be able to draw Wasteland, which I did not. Sure, I'll phase my Tamiyo out, I guess. I will now Flow State. Oh, I'm super happy that that gets a Daze, because that Flow State wasn't particularly good. The next one will be better if I don't have to use Force of Negation to make it through the turn. Okay, Doomsday it is. That consider kind of confirms it. Another Underground, well, the same Underground Sea comes back down. Your Brainstorm is fine. Okay, my opponent is just willing to concede there. I mean, that's why you play the counterspells, right? That's the dream. So GG's. I now can play Force of Vigors and Consigns that are relevant versus my opponent's combo, and I can honestly think about all of the non-dismember stuff as well. All my cards seem good. All my cards seem good. If I assume that I'm just in for a longer game, I could get rid of Crop Rotation, and that gets me 3 more Force effects and 1 of the Consigns. And then I just do something like this. I could, like, swap Endurances in for something, but I think I am okay with my blue count being where it is at. Sure. This is not ideal. I don't know that I throw it back or anything, but it's not ideal. Uh-huh. Please be Doomsday? Not a car? Cool. I have a reasonable chance at beating that with a Consign. Whereas if that was like car bobble, I'm just dead, and I never beat that. Well, let's take a quick look, see if anything is super interesting here. Full playset of Fantasticars. It's not an LED pile. There's a long goodbye. There's not other creature pivot stuff here. Force of Vigor, not good right now. In Hedge Maze, we trust. I'm looking for more than just this consigned to memory. Opponent taking their time here. They put a card on top. Imagine that. If you pick all of the cards in your deck, you want them all. Fascinating. All right. Hedge Maze. No to that. That is not what we're going for right now. That's not what I want either. All right. Land drop, pass turn. I think I just have to hold up Consign. It's possible I should just cast the flow state here, but it's so easy to get blown out by my opponent just going for it immediately when I tap out. And I still get Hedge Maze value this turn, even if I am not casting an actual factual spell to graveyard with you. Got one anyway. How many Thought Seizes do I see here? There's 1, 2. So my opponent could like Thought Seize and go for it here. There's also only 2 Force of Wills. All right, I think I need to cast a flow state. I think my opponent's going to have protection. All right, Force of Negation. So now I have Force of Negation and a Consign. You may Brainstorm. I am not going to let you do that. Junk Lorien revealed. Yup. So now this gets my Consign. And if my opponent's last 2 cards are Lotus Petal and Oracle, or Cavern and Oracle, they win. That's rough. We had a decent amount of interaction there, and it was not good enough. GG. Let's run it back. I could also do something like pull out 2 Malevolent Rumbles for Disruptor Flutes, but Malevolent Rumble digging for Wasteland is a thing. And to some extent, I also need green cards for Force of Vigor. Any land that produces mana, and I get Life from the Loam, but I don't know that I get to keep this. I'm gonna ship that. Yes. Holy shit. Keep, pitch, Hedge Maze. This is just drop into Tamiyo, and then I just try to ride Tamiyo to victory with multiple counterspells. Misty Rainforest comes down, and opponent is passing the turn. Yeah, so now I have 2 pitch counterspells available, and Tamiyo represents an extra card draw each turn. This is a very strong position to be in, but I think Doomsday is easily the best deck in the format right now, so let's not get complacent and cocky and whatnot. My opponent has like 1 card that gets rid of this Tamiyo, so like the fact that it is resolved just does mean that it is a card draw machine at this stage, and soon to be a Planeswalker as well. In we go. Attempt Brainstorm. Very nice. With no green card to pair with this, I probably just get rid of this one here. Put back 1 copy of Lorien Revealed on top. Plus Tamiyo. Do I want to Boseiju as a pseudo spell? Nah. I think I'm okay with this number of counter spells and active Tamiyo. Underground Sea. Your Thoughtseize resolves. No matter what you take, I still have 2 counter spells available this turn. You may Brainstorm. End of turn, I will go ahead and put a blue card into my hand. Then I will go ahead and Tamiyo minus, get that Force of Negation back. And at this point, I have 3 different pitch counters available. I can also just island cycle this and make it so that I can hard cast a Force of Negation as well, and not miss my land drop. So I still have 3 counter spells available. And then we can restart on Tamiyo plussing. I can like start casting Flow State and whatnot. Should I just say no to that? I don't know that I do. I think you can just have that despite the fact that that's 2 cards. I just don't think that matters. You might end up discarding anyway. No discard, there is a Scalding Tarn. I don't think I'm gonna cycle Lorien Revealed. I think I'm just good with that being a blue card that floats in my hand. Tamiyo plus. Here is my Flow State. Consign is great. Rumble looks at Wasteland. Seems fine. Play Yavimaya. I now also just have green card for Fantasticar stuff. I don't know that I want to tap down on mana. Daze is a thing that exists. My opponent just has another Underground Sea. That's fine. Resolves. Fantasticar. I think I will replicate that once. Getcha. Alright, that is countered. Doomsday. I will fight over that. Oh, and we just won the fights. Great. That was easy. Let's start here. I will take the Wasteland. Drop land. Wasteland my opponent. Cameo plus, I think. Possible that the situation is still scary enough that I should just Cameo minus and give up on my active Planeswalker. Bobble is fine. Yep. Doomsday. 1, 2, 3. Attempt to say no to that. Around a daze. That's a Force of Will. Alright, that's happening. That's horrifying. I can Tamiyo minus and put Consign back into my hand and have both Consign and Force of Will available. This is scary still. If I draw another piece of interaction, I can probably safely just Tamiyo plus and try to end the game with Tamiyo the following turn by drawing half of my library. Alright, opponent is down to 7. They take an immediate redraw. Life from the Loam. I can go after mana, which I will do. So, Otawara, Stage, Wasteland, 1 and 2. Wasteland, target Underground Sea. I think I need to minus on that Consign. Let's get that back. So I have a few pieces of interaction here. That is a Brainstorm. I don't think I get to Force of Will. I could, but I think that just puts me in a bad spot next turn. Thoughtseize happens. I've lost the Consign. There's Lotus Petal. Second Lotus Petal. Oracle's not good enough here. So you go Oracle. I let that resolve, and I Otawara it back to your hand. Like so. Now I'd like to draw a blue card, I guess. It's weird because I can always Wasteland. But one of those last two cards is probably Cavern. I think I just do this. So Tamiyo plus Life from the Loam, Wasteland, Otawara, Dark Depths. Where's the Cavern, I guess? I'm assuming this doesn't work. Wasteland here. Pass turn. See if I'm dead. Cycle Street Wraith. So it didn't matter where the Cavern was. My opponent had it either way. And Force of Will doesn't beat that. And Otawara wouldn't stop this anyway with an empty library. Anyway, I've been saying people should be playing Doomsday. That is a great example of why there. GG's. We are negative no matter what in this league at this point. Alright, final round here. My hand has Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, any land gets us to the combo, and any green source gets me to Life from the Loam. This is like fine. Another polluted Delta deck of some kind. Potentially Reanimator. Reanimator confirmed. So I know what I'm doing with this Brainstorm now, which I think I will just cast immediately at end of turn, unless we're doing more now. Unmask, targeting me. I'll just let that resolve. My opponent has taken the flow state. I will end of turn Brainstorm. Cool, I have a Force of Negation now, and I can Wasteland my opponent. Sick. Dark Depths and Thespian Stage back on top. Here is a Wasteland. All at a turn. I will absolutely Force of Negation this Faithless Looting. No way. Do you get that? Alright, that's good enough for my opponent. GG. 3 Endurances can come in. These check the graveyard and are also something that I can reveal to Stronghold Gambit, which is perfectly reasonable. It's a little hard to hit the correct thing with Disruptor Flute here. There's some things that stuff like Consign do. You often want Consign if you can do something like Consign in Atraxa trigger and then just Swords to Plowshares it and move on, but I can't do that. Endurance might be all that I'm boarding. Go down on Emeritus so that my opponent can't reanimate it is like a very legitimate thing. I'll keep... oh no, I'm at 81. Yeah, let's not let my opponent have an Emeritus. Like, them having a Tamiyo is bad. Them having an Emeritus is worse. That's just an immediate draw 3. All right, this, if my opponent does the Force of Will check on turn 1, my opponent wins. If they don't, I have crop rotation for Bojuka Bog available and a Wasteland to hit their mana. This is fine. Not having access to something like Caracas via the crop rotation is a big deal, though. Throwing that out there. All right, you have unmasked me. You got it. I have lost my best card, unfortunately. My opponent doesn't play out a land. I'm going to let them know that I drew this. I think I just need to. Edge Maze. Uro can go to Graveyard. I don't need to draw that card. I'm F6'd here. My opponent can do something broken. They get it. Ooh, they can't. Well, I will go digging with Flow State. That's kind of a miss. I guess I'm taking a forest in respect of casting an Uro from Graveyard. And I will fetch a Trop, throw another land into play, and throw down a Tamiyo. I'm very lucky if I get to untap. Well, my opponent is interested in playing games quickly, not trying to win the most games possible. So we do put up 2 wins today with this deck. GG's. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. The league record is a 2-3. It's a 2-3 where if I'm not recording and like going over my thoughts as I'm saying things, which takes a lot of time, I probably win that first round. There was a round against a Scythecat Cub deck where my opponent had absolutely savage top decks, which got them ultimately the match win. In a slightly different universe, this is a league that maybe had the potential to 5-0. I think I improved the original build a lot. I don't think I ever put the Yorion into my hand. And I was thinking about that card, but I just had stuff to do with my mana like every turn. Activating Thespian Stages, activating Life from the Loams, cracking clues, casting Uros, casting Emeritus. I had so much to do with my mana that I was like never wanting for that Yorion. And there might have been a spot or two where I could have put it in my hand, but a lot of times I was like holding open Brainstorm, holding open Cycle, Lorien Revealed, holding open Hardcast Force of Negation. The Yorion conceptually wasn't great here. You can potentially just boil this same thing down to 60 cards if you want to do that, and I don't know that the Yorion adds too much. This is a deck that can grind in the late game and can get out of the early game with its 11 force effects. There is something to be said about that. But at the same time, this deck is working relatively hard for its wins and has some real weaknesses. Caracas hits Merit Lage, Tamiyo, Uro, and Yorion all at the same time. So when your opponent is like an opposing lands deck and they have Life from the Loam Caracas, that's incredibly frustrating to try and work through. And you also don't have your own like Caracas Tabernacle, Maze of Ith style interactions. This deck was fine. I am unsure how I feel about the Emeritus. Conceptually, I really like it as play it, Ancestral, attack, Ancestral again, and the game is stabilized, but it does cost 5 mana to cast, and this deck was already spending a ton of its mana. It's possible you just outright don't need this. I want the blue count to be higher, otherwise I'd just say play Icetail Explorer in game 1. But like you really, really, really want a high blue count because you are doing Force of Will and Force of Negation to make it so that you get to your end game Dirtle time. I'm not sure on the land count. I did increase it. It's possible you still need more. So it could be like you play like 1 or 2 Emeritus and throw another land in there to make sure that you have your colors in the opening hand, which was one of the primary reasons why I did need to mulligan. We hardcast a Lorien Revealed once or twice. I'm going to give this deck the shaky thumbs up, where I conceptually think that if you're trying to play a lands-style mid-range deck in a Fantasticar world, having these 11 forces is totally reasonable. But I think there's probably room for improvement here in finessing the number of lands or just bringing this down to a tighter 60-card build. Flow State was like 50-50 whether or not it was a thing, and Malevolent Rumble missed a couple of times where it like showed like Brainstorm, Lorien Revealed sorts of situations. So there's definitely some costs to playing a deck that looks like this. But overall, this was a really cool league, honestly. Like this was good, grindy Magic. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you have anything that you want to see on the channel, the donation queue is getting a little light. So that information is available in every single video description if you want to support my content. With that being said, folks, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope you're staying cool in this heat wave. See ya!